was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our...
The entire House chamber was charged with energy as Nicole Malliotakis and Lisa Mlan rose to speak. Two women who refused to let the values of this nation be trampled any longer. What unfolded was not just another debate. It was a political reckoning years in the making. Ilhan Omar's removal from Congress wasn't about revenge or partisanship. It was about accountability, integrity, and respect for the American people. For too long, many believed that figures like Omar could speak and act without consequence, hiding behind political labels and moral deflection. But this day changed everything. It was the day Congress reminded the world that America still has guardians who will fight to protect its principles. When Malliotakis and Mlan spoke, it wasn't just their voices. It was the echo of millions of citizens demanding that their nation's dignity be restored. Years ago, Ilhan Omar made remarks that shocked the conscience of every patriotic American. Referring to the September 11th tragedy, one of the darkest days in our nation's history, she called it, "Some people did something." To many, those 5 words felt like a betrayal, a dismissal of the pain, the loss, and the heroism that defined that day. For families who lost loved ones, those words cut deep. For first responders who still carry scars, both physical and emotional, they reopened old wounds. And that moment revealed something larger, a mindset that seemed disconnected from the values and reverence this country demands from its leaders. Nicole Malliotakis never forgot those words, nor did the countless Americans who saw them as an insult to the memory of 9/11. Today's hearing wasn't just about removing a representative. It was about finally answering those words with justice and reaffirming that America will never forget.
Colleagues, the reasons why the Representative Omar should be removed from this committee, but I feel like all the reasons have not just yet been stated, which is why I rise to add for the record. We've heard about the comments that were made regarding anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli views, but I rise to add to the record that as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I've sat there and heard the representative actually spew anti-American rhetoric as well.
When Nicole Malliotakis took the floor, she didn't speak as a politician. She spoke as an American. Her tone was calm but fierce, her conviction unshakable. She detailed how Ilhan Omar, while sitting on the powerful Foreign Affairs Committee, repeatedly spoke against America's allies, questioned Israel's legitimacy, and even compared the United States to terrorist groups. That was a line no public servant should ever cross. Malliotakis reminded everyone that Congress isn't a stage for personal ideology. It's a platform for serving the people who built this nation. Her message was clear. The American flag represents sacrifice, freedom, and unity, not division, grievance, and blame. Her words filled the room with a sense of clarity that had been missing for far too long.
I've been in that committee room where the representative equates Israel and the United States to Hamas and the Taliban. Absolutely unacceptable for a member of that committee. I've also heard the representative equate that it is the United States' fault that there is turmoil in Venezuela, that is not because of the oppressive socialist and communism that has spread throughout Central and South America, in Venezuela at the hands of the Maduro and Hugo Chavez regimes. That is unacceptable. And as a New York representative, to hear the representative belittle, to try to diminish.
Then came Lisa Mlan, a representative known for her sharp honesty and unfiltered patriotism. When she spoke, her frustration was evident, not just toward Omar, but toward the entire culture of excuses that had protected her for years. Mlan rejected the idea that an apology could erase years of anti-American rhetoric. She declared that real leadership is about taking responsibility and standing firm on principle. Her voice rose as she defended the Constitution and the duty every lawmaker swears to uphold. Mlan reminded her colleagues that accountability isn't cruelty. It's the backbone of democracy. And in that moment, her fiery tone cut through the noise and laid bare a truth many had avoided. When you insult the nation you represent, you forfeit the honor of representing.
The worst terrorist attack on United States soil on September 11, 2001, as some people did something, that is unacceptable as well. And I hold the same standard for this side of the aisle that I do the other, because when another colleague on my side said something about 9/11, I also voted to have her removed from the Education Committee because I thought that was inappropriate. So I'm being consistent here, and I hope my colleagues will do the same to show that this is about consistency and accountability.
The chamber moved toward the vote. The atmosphere grew heavier. Every member understood what was about to happen. Some looked nervous, others defiant. But when the gavel struck, the outcome was clear. Ilhan Omar was removed. Her removal wasn't just symbolic. It was a message to every American watching. It told the people that Congress still had the courage to hold its own accountable. For the first time in years, citizens saw unity in defense of principle. The applause that followed wasn't partisan. It was patriotic. It was the sound of a nation reclaiming its voice and demanding standards once again. The impact of this decision was immediate. Across social media, newsrooms, and homes, Americans reacted with a mix of relief, pride, and vindication. For many, this felt like justice, a long overdue acknowledgement that patriotism still matters in the highest halls of government. Nicole Malliotakis and Ilhan became symbols of what leadership should look like. Fearless, focused, and loyal to the people, not the politics. Their courage inspired ordinary citizens who had grown disillusioned with Washington's complacency. It reminded everyone that one voice backed by truth can still make a difference. And together, those voices can still change the course of history.
Because we should not have an individual with those views on the committee that is tasked with representing our country and our Congress to foreign nations. I yield back.
The gentlelady yields back.
Gentleman reserves. Gentlelady from Michigan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to use that logic, well, then all those people should have just said sorry and we'd move on, right? But no, we don't do that. And let me tell you, I take a little bit of offense to what the hell is wrong with me. I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with me. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not going to apologize for it.
While Omar's removal marked a major victory, both Malliotakis and Ilhan warned that the real fight was just beginning. There are still others in Congress who echo Omar's sentiments. Figures who see America not as the solution, but as the problem. This movement to restore national pride isn't about one person. It's about reclaiming the soul of the country. These conservative leaders made it clear that America can no longer afford to tolerate divisive rhetoric disguised as progress. The mission now is to elect leaders who stand tall, who don't apologize for loving their country, and who see the American flag as a symbol of unity, not oppression. Their message wasn't just for Congress. It was for every voter who believes this nation deserves better. As the day ended and the dust settled, the message of this historic vote echoed far beyond Cap Hill. Ilhan Omar's removal was more than a political event. It was a cultural reset. It proved that courage and conviction can still win against division and complacency.
I'm going to hold the Constitution, and it's very simple. We really shouldn't even have this debate. If you break the law and you follow due process, there are consequences to your actions, even if you say sorry. So we can try all of the diversion tactics that we would like. It doesn't change the fact that someone broke the law and that someone should be held accountable.
The aftermath of Ilhan Omar's removal sent shockwaves through Washington. Lawmakers who once stayed silent were now forced to take a side, either stand with America's values or defend someone who repeatedly questioned them. The halls of Congress buzzed with reporters, and the tension could be felt from office to office. Nicole Malliotakis and Ilhan walked out with their heads held high, not as victors of a political battle, but as defenders of principle. They had just shown that the House could still act with integrity when the country demanded it most. Across the nation, Americans were divided, but deeply engaged. Veterans, first responders, and everyday citizens filled social media with gratitude toward Malliotakis and Ilhan for standing up when others looked away. Families of 9/11 victims expressed relief, saying that justice had finally caught up with the words that hurt them years ago. While Omar supporters tried to frame her as a victim, the broader public saw something different. Accountability at last.
Disappointing, Mr. Speaker, that their own party can't hold them accountable, that they have such hypocrisy. So with that, I yield 2 minutes to my friend from New York, Nicole Malliotakis.
Gentlelady is recognized for 2 minutes.
For many, it was the first sign in years that Congress still listened to the people. Behind the scenes, the emotional toll of the debate was visible. Ilhan admitted that standing up to the political establishment wasn't easy. But she felt it was her duty to defend America's dignity. Malliotakis, who grew up in New York, the very city scarred by September 11th, spoke with the raw emotion of someone who lived that pain. Their conviction wasn't about partisanship or popularity. It was born from memories, patriotism, and love for a country that gives everyone a chance to dream. That emotion made their speeches resonate beyond politics. Even after her removal, Ilhan Omar refused to back down. In fiery interviews, she claimed to be the target of bias, painting herself as a victim of unfair attacks. But her refusal to acknowledge the hurt caused by her own words only deepened the divide. For Malliotakis and Mallien, Omar's defiance proved their point that accountability means admitting when you've crossed a line. Instead, she doubled down, missing the chance to heal wounds and regain trust. Her pride became her undoing, sealing her legacy in controversy. This wasn't just a vote. It was a symbol. Every yes on the House floor represented a stand for respect, unity, and loyalty to America. Every no exposed the cracks in political courage. As the names were read, citizens at home could almost feel the weight of history pressing down. The removal of Ilhan Omar wasn't about one person. It was about restoring the spirit of accountability that too many thought had vanished. That vote drew a line that future lawmakers will never forget. The moment when Congress remembered who it truly serves. What Nicole Malliotakis and Mallien demonstrated was more than political skill. It was leadership at its purest form. They didn't need polls or approval ratings to tell them what was right. They trusted their conscience and the principles that built this nation. They reminded America that real leadership is not about being loud. It's about being clear, strong, and unshakable in the face of criticism. Their courage sent a message to young leaders everywhere. You can stand up for truth even when the entire room disagrees. As always, the media tried to twist the story. Some networks framed Omar's removal as political revenge, ignoring the years of remarks that led to it. But this time, Americans weren't fooled. They saw the footage, they heard the words, and they knew where the truth stood. Independent journalists and citizen reporters filled the gap, replaying Malliotakis and Mallien's speeches for millions online. No amount of spin could hide the raw honesty of that moment. The day truth cut through the noise and stood unshaken. The removal of Ilhan Omar marked a shift in Washington. The birth of what many now call accountability politics. Lawmakers realized that words have consequences even for those in power. It showed that America's patience with divisive rhetoric had reached its limit. What started as one motion in the House became a rallying cry across the country. If you disrespect this nation, you will answer for it. Malliotakis and Mallien didn't just change the outcome of a vote. They changed the tone of American politics. In the days following the decision, patriotic rallies sprang up across states. Flags were raised and people gathered to celebrate what they saw as a victory for national pride. Veterans spoke at gatherings, thanking Malliotakis and Mallien for doing what so many felt was long overdue. This wasn't about hatred or exclusion. It was about love for the country and unity around shared values. The public awakening reminded everyone that patriotism is not something to be whispered. It's something to be proudly lived and defended. As time passes, Ilhan Omar's removal will stand as a benchmark, a warning that Congress is no longer a place for anti-American sentiment. Nicole Malliotakis and Mallien didn't just win a political argument. They restored the honor of the House. Their legacy will inspire future lawmakers to speak truth with courage and act with conviction. And as Americans look back, they'll remember this chapter as the day two women reignited faith in leadership and proved that no matter how divided the nation becomes, love for America can still unite it.